Ah, the wild world of insects. Freaky little buggers, aren't they? Some people love them, some people hate them, some people find them just fascinating enough to deal with the fear. Most are relatively harmless to humans, depending on what you'd like to classify harm as, and a great deal are quite happy to live their lives with little to no interference. However, plenty of bugs have defense mechanisms and hunting tools that are downright terrifying. Some of the worst of the bunch are downright aggressive too. Entomologist and author Justin Schmidt is particularly interested in insects, especially those who sting. He's so thrilled and fascinated by them, he actually came up with a scale for measuring how much these stings hurt. How did he measure all this? Well, by getting stung by just about every possible stinger, of course. So today we're going to delve into a little bit of Schmidt's work and discuss the feelings he felt when stung, while also mixing in some other bugs whose sting and bite are scary for different reasons. Try not to get too hung up on the difference between stinging and biting, by the way. Hello, fellow friends and philosophers, and welcome back to the most mind-bending channel on YouTube, Life's Biggest Questions. I'm your voice in the void, Keegan Hughes, and today we're going to be counting down the top 10 scary insect bites. Before we begin, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe for more painful piercers. Perfect, let's get started. Kicking us off at number 10, we have the fierce black POLYBIA wasp. Sounds scary, eh? Well, they're aggressive for sure, but their sting ranks at around a 2.5 on Schmidt's 4-point scale. Definitely painful, but it's not gonna knock your socks off. He describes it as a ritual gone wrong, satanic. The gas lamp in the old church explodes in your face when you light it. Makes me want to play Diablo 3 again, but I digress. What they don't have in pure sting pain, they make up for in tenacity though. Consider the name, the fierce black POLYBIA wasp. These lads will sting potential predators silly if they get too close to the nest. However, if you leave these dark-bodied wasps alone, you should be safe. That is, unless they've got a thriving colony in the nest, in which case they'll put it all on the line to keep their investments safe. Coming in at number 9, we've got the giant paper wasp. You'll be hearing quite a bit about paper wasps today. It seems that the winged beasts who prefer to make pulpy, papery nests have absolutely nasty stings. There are many different kinds of these wasps, but we'll start with a giant one. The giant paper wasp rates a 3 on Schmidt's pain index, with him describing the sting by saying, "There are gods, and they do throw thunderbolts. Poseidon has rammed his trident into your breast." And that's just a 3. Doesn't sound like my idea of a good time, the god of the sea attacking me with his signature weapon. And if one little sting from the giant wasp can cause that, you'd better hope you don't attract more. This large yellow-brown paper wasp tends to build nests under the eaves of buildings or suspended from branches, so keep your eye on the sky for these formations or regret it big time. Coming in at number 8, we've got the toe biter. We'll take a quick wasp break here. Now we'll look at the fearsome water bug. The water bugs I'm most familiar with are water striders and the like. Definitely nowhere near as freaky looking or painful as the toe biters. These giant water bugs are the largest member of the Hemiptera family of freshwater insects. They can grow up to 4 inches long and look like hell. This is what nightmares are made of. Males often carry the eggs on their backs too, making for a truly ugly creature. Toe biters live in streams where they wait for their prey. Once something good comes along, they will strike quickly and inject them with a digestive fluid. This makes their prey's insides all gooey, after which they slurp it all up. Usually toe biter victims consist of fish and invertebrates, but they've actually been seen chowing down on baby turtles and water snakes. That is one mean bug. Now, they're called toe biters because they do just that. They bite people's toes, and apparently this is extremely painful. It's not a dangerous bite, but the sting can last for several hours, causing all sorts of agony. Coming in at number 7, we've got the red-headed paper wasp. Back to some Schmidt ratings, this reddish-brown blackwing ranks a solid 3 on the scale. While a lot of well-known pain-causing insects are found across the world, this devilish dastard is native to the USA. They've been found in Texas, Florida, New York, and Nebraska, as well as some locations in Canada and Bermuda, although they're not considered native there. Schmidt says that the pain they cause is immediate, irrationally intense, and unrelenting. This is the closest you will come to seeing the blue of a flame from within the fire. Add all that to some of the largest nests built by any wasp species, and you've got yourself a stinger that you do not want to mess with. Red means danger. Stay away from these ones. Coming in at number 6, the Asian giant wasp. Let's talk about murder hornets. They're causing quite a stir right now. Are they worth the hype? In terms of actual danger, probably not. It's unlikely that we're going to see a population explosion of these things in North America anytime soon. However, if you're specifically worried about getting stung by one, you're probably on the right track. Although Schmidt doesn't rate these big bee-killing bugs very high in his pain index, Coyote Peterson took the plunge and really felt the heat. After being stung by one under controlled circumstances, his arm swelled up from wrist to elbow, and he experienced unbearable pain for about 8 hours. He said that if you get stung by one, you're gonna see stars and eventually black out for the most part. The long-lasting pain followed by lots of itching are definitely reasons to fear the stinger on these insects. Coming in at number 5, blowflies. Wait, what? Blowflies? Are they really that scary? Well, in terms of pain and big risk to humans, probably not. But if you've ever seen an animal suffering from fly strike, you'll know just how terrifying these can be. Most common in sheep, fly strike is when a parasite lays its eggs on an animal either in soiled wool or on open wounds. Once hatched, the maggots bury themselves in the skin, feeding off the flesh. Once they reach maturity, the cycle begins anew, with more developed flies depositing more eggs, and those new eggs eating more flesh. The longer this goes on, the more flies are attracted to the animal in question, and it gets pretty nasty. In some cases, sheep have even died from ammonia poisoning. Pets have been known to fall victim to this too, so watch out. Coming in at number 4, we've got the tarantulahawk. Now we're into the big boys. Tarantulahawks are a species of wasp that feed on, you guessed it, tarantulas. They sting their prey before dragging it back to the nest, where it's used as living food. Eggs are laid inside the spiders, and the larvae hatch and eat their prey live. Boy. If this big brute of a wasp needs to stun a tarantula effectively enough so their babies can eat it no problem, the sting is probably gonna hurt. In fact, Schmidt ranked this sting among the most painful out there. Hitting number 4, the tarantulahawk sting is blinding, fierce, and shockingly electric. A running hairdryer has been dropped into your bubble bath. A bolt out of the heavens. Lie down and scream. He means it too. Most people who get stung by one of these end up hurting themselves because they're too focused on the pain to be coordinated. Coming in at number 3, we've got the warrior wasp. Sounds about right, doesn't it? You definitely don't want to come face to face with one of these blue beauties. They may look like gems, but that's cursed treasure, matey. Another 4 by Schmidt standards, he describes the sting as torture. You're chained to the flow of an active volcano. Why did I start this list? And honestly, that's a pretty good question at this point. You gotta respect the dedication. These wasps aren't only known for their stings either. Another notable fact relates to their nickname, the drumming wasp. They engage in a threat display where multiple insects beat their wings against their body, which to some sounds like soldiers marching. Impending doom, if you would. Ignore the warning and you'll get stung, and it'll hurt real bad. Coming in at number 2, we've got the executioner wasp. If Coyote Peterson says this one's extra bad, you'd better believe it. The sting of the executioner wasp is not only painful, but physically destructive. If you find yourself on the receiving end of one of these huge stingers, you're in big trouble. Apparently, the sting makes it feel like flesh is being peeled away from your body. It really fries your arm too, causing raised white marks to appear. Topping the bullet ant and the warrior wasp, Peterson says that this one is indeed the king of sting. And coming in at number 1, we've got ticks. Hear me out. I know we've gone over all sorts of stinging insects today, each more painful than the last. However, the fact that ticks are A, all over the place, and B, vectors for disease make this the scariest biting insect. These external parasites live off the blood of mammals, birds, and sometimes even reptiles or amphibians. We see them all the time in the news. Every spring, people pull out new warnings about ticks. Check your dogs, kids, spouses, and in-laws. Nobody wants to end up with one of these tiny buggers attached. Often you don't even notice when a tick bites. This incognito nip is what makes them so dangerous. They've been known to spread typhus, African tick bite fever, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, Lyme disease, Q fever, and more. Heck, they can even cause tick paralysis and red meat allergies. All this comes together and puts ticks at the top of today's list. Sheesh, maybe we should just stay inside. At least then we'd be safe from all these bugs. What did you think of the list? Have you encountered any of these painful insects? Are there any that you think should have made the cut but didn't? Make sure you let me know down in the comments. Speaking of comments, let's take a look at some of your more morbid ones from the top 10 insects scarier than murder hornets part 2. Lance101 says, here's a video idea. Who is the man behind the slaughter? Isn't there a song about that? SCP-682 says, good thing the thumbnail isn't real. Not yet at least. Snake5461 says, I can't believe that the executioner wasp was not included. Are you happy now? Lol says, I lived in Australia and I feel like a survivor after everything I saw and experienced with nature there. Wish all good for my Australian fellows out there. Did you leave because of all the scary stuff, or was it more personal than that? Topsy Crypt says, video idea. What if New York City was turned into a giant prison like in Escape from New York starring Kurt Russell? Well, then you better hope the president never crash lands in the middle of it. Snake Plissken is retired. That's all the time we have for today. Before I reach singularity, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe for more natural nastiness. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.